I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's a special meeting, Town of Dayton Board of Health, located at 1111 Somerset Avenue. Today is June 9th, and it's 11:04. All right, so first we'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm Tammy Mello.
I am Vincent Hebert.
Okay, new business. A, review, discuss, act, health agent resignation. All right, so dated on March 27th, 2025, we did receive a letter from Matt Tanis, unfortunately, resigning from the position of the health agent. So we really need to talk about the future. We definitely need to replace him with someone in the event, especially we had an incident where there was an emergency and there was nobody available. So we're definitely going to have to address that. We do have somebody right now. We have Jerry, who thankfully call him, can do any type of inspection or any of the required duties of the health agent. So we're lucky in that aspect. However, we do need to find somebody more permanent. So we're going to have to vote on the letter received by Matt, acknowledging the resignation.
Can I get a motion?
Sure.
No, you need to ask me that.
Can you make a motion?
I can make a motion. Yes, motion to approve Matt Tanis's resignation letter.
Okay, I step down and I second that motion. Can I have a vote?
Vote aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, so moving to B, review, discuss, act, review job description of the health agent.
Accommodation job description in there, the one that was tailored for the per diem, and then the one that was previous health agent held.
Okay, thanks, Liz.
I think the per diem one is the one that we should go with, actually. Saves us money in the town.
Okay,
I mean, I don't know, your opinion, Tim.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I try to be pretty cautious about, or I'd like to be pretty cautious about our spending. So I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah. Because I think we've talked is like how many actual inspections are done in the town. It's not really, I don't think really a full-time job.
Yeah. I'd like to, if I may, open it up for a second, just to have our town administrator speak.
No, I appreciate that. I was going to say, from the chair. And this is right. So this is your board, and I understand, your discussion regarding the budget. I mean, we can review that. I would like to revisit at some point the notion of having someone to do like the 28 hours per week. Only because then we have more consistency in the office. I think it's going to be difficult. Either one has its pros and cons, and its effectiveness and its lack thereof, right? I think I would rather see that office have more consistency in manning, being present to deal with questions from the public. I understand that it's they're and they interact with other departments, and I know does a very good job, but, as another person there will be helped, they could support each other. The problem is, at that amount of hours, who would be fine? I know you guys were involved, with the one the search before, and, you're gonna find someone who doesn't have a lot of experience, so, I mean, that at some point, that may be a consideration. Do we hire somebody with less experience, have them grow into the role? I know we run the risk, that they'll leave, but I think we have somebody for 2 or 3 years, let's see what they have,
Right.
and then fill it, because, I mean, what we have now, we're going through turnover now anyway, so it's,
Right.
I mean, it's not like we're saving in that regard. So, from a management standpoint, I would prefer to see a more consistent show of a health agent there who could get the jobs and just sort of helps manage the office better. And those are my initial thoughts on it. I mean, I'd be happy to have a discussion. And
Yeah.
This is your decision. That's
Well,
kind of, yeah.
I think as the board, we don't want it to just be our decision. I think we need to work with you, and we need to make the right decision. So
Yeah.
I don't want to make the wrong decision. Taking into consideration our budget. The only thing that worries me is if we do hire someone who doesn't have the experience, we have to take into account of how long it would take a person to gain those licenses or
Right.
whichever
Right.
schooling that they have to do. So we need to take that into consideration too. And is it going to cost, how much is it going to cost
Right,
us?
so I mean, just say someone who doesn't.
So,
have this
yeah.
engineering,
So I think-
we'd still be farming that.
Yeah, I think it'd be the right thing to do, obviously, is to open that up with an application period. Like you said, revisit and figure out how long it would take a person if they didn't have certain licenses.
Yeah.
In order to do the job.
We have found it's been difficult to find somebody, for the health, for that and for the nurse.
Right.
Just from the interviews that we had. And, I would ask Liz is like, do you think, Liz, that this is like a 28-hour-a-week job, a 20-hour-a-week job, 30 hours, 40,
I would say 25 to 28.
somewhere in there? Okay, so the 28 is.
The last health agent that was here, it was a good time.
Mhm,
There was, it was fulfilled her position,
mhm.
you know what I mean, with, complaints that we get and site visits. I believe the health agent before that, he was 25 hours, and then 10 hours of his time was dedicated to stormwater and solid waste. So the health agent position, just that, has always been around 25 hours.
Okay,
Okay.
so if we do like a hybrid for now until we find somebody, we could we could keep the per diem piece for now until we can find somebody more permanent.
Well, I think that we have no choice.
We don't have a choice.
Yeah, we have to keep that per diem position open. And then, obviously, like Ralph said, revisit. So before I say anything else, Karen, did you need to say anything?
No, I
No.
agree with everything.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm getting everybody here. So what are we thinking for a revisit period? And I'm gonna
Yeah.
open this back up to you. Should we say the end of the summer? Or is that too early, too late?
I mean, you want to run the account? So if we get. And then see the candidates we get
Mhm.
to do for the 28-hour. And then we'll take it
I think
take
that's,
it from there.
I think
You know,
that's
it's not
fair.
like-
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah, I know it's a little awkward, but I think
We need to,
ultimately,
yeah.
ultimately, I would like to see someone that more consistent.
Right.
It's just, again,
to alleviate any issues. Sure, okay, so.
I think
I'm
that's,
sorry.
I was just gonna say, I mean, if it's not like a budgetary concern,
Yeah,
Then-
yeah, we'll take a review of the budget, we'll see, and, you know, the person who does the per diem, you know, will make sure, the person knows where we're at,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
with it. Or if we find a per diem person that could really, you know, be there, provide, answer questions and be responsive.
Mhm.
You know, maybe it gives us an opportunity that's gonna stretch out to find.
Or if you
Mhm.
find a per diem person and say, if you wanted to go into this role full-time, you need to get these licenses or this training. You know, and
Yeah, I think.
maybe grow them into that.
We have a higher standard for the per diem
Mhm.
than we do for the health agent. I think the expectation is, you know, especially since we're paying the $50 an hour and, the per diem person is sort of, we have a complete package, so to speak, coming, you know, they could do septic, they could do, you know, they could do, the food inspections and everything else.
Mhm.
Because if we don't, if that person's not it, I mean, we have somebody already to do septic, so why, you know, sort of, you know, then we just should skip to the more extended health
Mhm.
agent,
Mhm.
so.
Mhm.
Okay.
Liz, how has it been with the agency that Cliff is from? How has it been working? Is he still pretty active at doing the food inspections?
He's available, he has us on his schedule once a week.
Okay,
So now that we don't have Matt, I'm working with him to lock down a schedule
okay,
and give him some of the food
okay,
for health violations,
okay.
because that's what Jerry.
Can't do, right, okay, all right, so that, at least
We have
that
him
was
weekly,
working,
But he is also spread pretty thin, he's in a bunch of towns.
right. But at least we have him, if we have him, who, that can commit at least one day a week. That's a positive, because we wouldn't have anybody if we didn't.
Would we want to even post the per diem position or just want to post the full-time position? I mean, if we have somebody that's doing the per diem now, we really,
Yeah,
Mm.
I think we should probably post the 28-hour per week position,
Mhm.
because we already have,
I think, is Jerry okay with that? Because I don't know, because he's just sort of, I mean, he's filling in,
Mhm.
I don't know
Yeah,
the permanence of how, if he wants to,
yeah, Jerry said he's available, he's not going anywhere.
okay.
He's
Okay,
retired, but he's still,
okay,
but he has his own business, so. I mean,
okay,
He's available. I've never called him and he said, no, I can't, so.
okay. And he's pretty fast with getting stuff back to us.
Yes.
Okay, that would be a consideration.
Yeah,
You know, I know someone, they're willing to do it on a short-term basis, I could do it for 2-3 months, but then after that, you know, we don't want to be.
Right.
You know, in a pickle, you know?
okay, right, so,
He also gave me a contact for someone who can do pool inspections, because we have the Papa Squash coming up, and then we
Okay.
have Whitney Academy who want to open their pool.
okay,
So Jerry gave me a contact who has the certified pool operator's license.
okay, great, great.
So we'll just go with the 28-hour.
I think so.
Think so, Tamara?
Yeah,
No need for the other one? At least
No.
Not for now.
yeah, because, I mean, we have to keep in mind what we're looking for, what is the future that we're looking for, and it's
Right.
the 28 hours.
I think, yeah, I think that will, again, in the larger picture, that would fit better. And I think and that gives you,
Mhm.
as a board, time to think about what kind of candidate.
Right,
how we-
and I also think that we might get more people apply if it's 28 hours and not per
Yeah.
diem. So
Right.
you may get somebody who's looking for more hours.
Yeah, we may get someone looking for more hours, maybe at this time of year, someone just recent, graduate,
Retired,
some
Or,
retired or graduate. that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
sure.
I would understand.
yeah, okay.
Want to edit anything on the job description?
I didn't see anything.
No, I didn't either.
Something wrong with it?
No, I didn't.
think it looks good the way it is.
You might spell it out, Liz.
Yeah. All right, so if there's no edits to be made, I think we're ready for a motion.
Okay. Motion to approve health agent job description and post on the website.
I step down and second that motion. May I have a vote?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, next up for discussion would be the public health nurse.
And not to interrupt, sorry,
Oh.
just to go back. Previously, I posted it on wider websites that I've dedicated just for municipal jobs. There is a fee associated with it, but we did get more,
How much is,
$75 to post it. But it's a statewide advertising.
I think that's the one you got, you got like 5 or 6.
Yeah. So we will get more, so I will make
Okay.
a motion to post it.
I mean, I don't see an issue with that. If we're gonna get more qualified people, it's worth the $75. It's not like that's an absorbent fee.
I agree. Yeah.
So can I get a motion on the $75 fee?
Yep. Motion to apply $75 for posting to what website was that, Liz?
I think it's called MMA,
MMA.
Massachusetts Municipal Association.
All right, I step down, I second that motion. Can I get a vote?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, moving on to the public health nurse. Looks like we got two new applicants, which is a great thing.
Yeah, I received one this morning from Leanne, so I snuck it.
Great.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Another one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Sarah?
great.
Is that the one? Yeah.
It wasn't in your packet, I
Okay,
apologize.
no, that's fine, I don't really want. Yeah.
Do you want to take a look at it?
Yeah, no applicants for months now.
Yeah, and now we got two. So, all right. So I think what we need to do is, why don't we get these two nurses in and at least do an interview?
Yeah, Sarah lives in Berkeley and
I believe Becca is Middleborough.
Middleborough.
This
Okay,
isn't far,
nope, that's fine.
so I think that's great. That's actually very good.
Yep, they both look qualified.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you can, maybe, yeah, why don't we set up some interviews and we'll see if it, whatever fits everyone's schedule.
Ken, do you want to be? Sure. Abby?
Okay, that would be great.
Mhm.
All right, so can I get a motion on setting up the interviews for the two applicants for the public health nurse?
Make motion to schedule interviews for the nurse position.
Okay, I step down, I second that motion. Can I get a vote?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I think we maybe went a little too far ahead, or I did rather, because now C, review, discuss, act, town nurse candidate. Oh, is that, wait a minute, is that the? new
Yeah, she's
one?
one of them.
She's one of them, right?
Becca.
Okay.
She goes by Becca.
Yeah, it's just the job description of the nurse.
Let's go back. That one.
Okay, the Job description.
I am. Anyone?
Yeah, it's
any?
the same as the last time,
Yeah.
pretty
Karen, do
much.
you have anything you wanted to add?
No.
No? All right, so why don't we make a motion on the public health nurse job posting?
Yep, motion to approve town nurse job description.
I step down, second that motion. Can I get a vote?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, moving on to selectmen request follow-up for 180 Cobb's Lane. Review, discuss, act. Liz, do you want to tell us anything about that?
That request came in from the selectmen's meeting. There was a gentleman who ran a junk dealership and he retired. So my understanding is there was ask for cleanup of the property.
Yeah, and we were just not aware of what type of involvement the Board of Health, if any, can if they can get involved in that, or if it has to be when it becomes a health hazard.
Okay,
So we didn't know what the involvement of the board health could be, if any.
okay,
I believe we have to have like an official complaint.
Yeah, right now it just stands as leftover
okay,
stuff.
right,
Property.
Yeah, I
okay,
don't think, we can't enforce anything
Yeah,
that's not
if-
enforceable,
right.
right?
If there's no complainant.
Yeah, we can't be proactive on that. I don't believe, like you said, it's got to be a complaint and then we can act in that respect.
Okay,
I will follow up with this, like, I don't know.
right.
Okay,
And if we can, of any assistance, we'll try our best to help out.
Once there is a complaint, obviously the investigation takes place, so the Board of Health can get involved, but there has to be someone who says
Right.
it's a problem.
Okay, so I'm gonna need a motion on that, Vinnie.
Yep.
180.
Motion for the issues on 180 Cobb's Lane. We will act if there's a complaint, and then we will enforce.
I step down, I second that motion. Can I get a vote?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Moving on, letter E, tobacco inspector appointment, Mary Beth. Where is that?
Yeah,
Oh, this is Cobb's, okay.
the inspector we had, changed roles.
Okay,
So they're moving Mary Beth into
that role,
area.
okay.
She'll be the inspector, so you just need to make a motion.
Is she like regional, Liz? Yeah.
All right, Vinnie, if I can get a motion on Mary Beth?
Motion to
Just want to appoint.
appoint Mary Beth Buglio as tobacco inspector.
I step down, I second that motion. Can I get a vote?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, moving on to F, septic inspection requirements.
So that came from, now that we have Jerry Bernard doing our inspections. He said that 2 of those that we currently do are not necessary. It was a request of, not the last health agent, the one before that.
Okay,
He said that those, it would save us money to not have to send him out there to do those.
okay,
Yeah.
because They're really unnecessary.
Yeah, he said eliminate those two. That would be $200 per septic system. That would save the town.
Mhm.
okay. Any thoughts, Vinnie? I mean, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it.
If it's unnecessary.
Yep.
I
I mean, he's a professional engineer.
Yeah,
So-
so I go with what he says.
Yep. I
If
would,
it can save the town money,
I
so,
would make a motion to approve that.
Okay.
Eliminate those 2 field inspections.
is that your motion?
Yes.
Okay, I step down, I second that motion. Can I get a vote?
Aye.
Aye, motion
We
passes.
can always revisit that if you have to.
Oh, absolutely, that'd be great. All right, moving on to G, CNN Pizza updated request. So where are we with this?
So I had Jerry review the plan. They want 2 two-bedroom apartments. Matt said no. He told them they could have 1 two-bedroom apartment. The owner didn't feel like that would be a wise decision on his part because the income wouldn't make sense. So he asked if he could do 2 one-bedroom apartments.
Okay,
And that's what he was waiting for. So since Matt resigned, I sent it off to Jerry to look at. And he replied
Yeah, I saw that too.
with his. He did take note that the property owner cannot provide pump records to us. So he doesn't know if the property's been pumped on a regular basis with a restaurant.
Mhm.
The grease trap is supposed to be cleaned out every 3 months. And he failed to provide any records of his pumping. Usually I get them from the licensed haulers we have in town.
Mhm.
I looked through my records and I found 1 in 2024, but nothing for the 2 years prior to that.
okay,
So his concern was, is the septic system in good condition, since it hasn't been maintained.
Mhm.
May have been, there's no proof that it has. So he also recommended the Title V being done like Matt did. Make sure the septic system is in working order.
Okay.
He said it's doable, it's just up to the board.
Okay, well, I believe how we left it when his representative came before the board our last meeting. I think we left it at that he needed to get the Title V
Right.
and talk to an engineer
Right.
about his plans. So I think that really there's no other question here because
No.
we need to have that done first.
Yeah, we can't consider it until that's,
Yeah, I think would be jumping
Mhm.
ahead than what we need to. So I think we need to wait for that Title V and his report from his engineer
Mhm.
on that one. So I think that's where we stand on that.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yep, there's nothing we can do.
No, not at this point. We need those steps to be taken first before
Mhm.
we move on. So can I get a motion?
Yep.
On CNN Pizza?
Make a motion on CNN Pizza to postpone until we can get,
There he is right there. We were just discussing. So the board.
You can come up, sir.
you could come up to the podium if you like.
Hello. So we were just discussing, actually, your pizza place. So we were saying that the last meeting that we had, how we left it was that you were going to do the Title V
We do it in Bath.
and you were going to talk to an engineer. So if you can provide the paperwork from the Title V inspection, then
You don't get that?
we don't have it, no.
We do that Friday and it's passed
Okay,
already.
maybe
and
they didn't submit it yet, so once your representative or someone submits your paperwork from the Title V, then we can revisit again. But as it stands right now, because we don't have anything, we can't make a decision. Something that we don't have the proof of
Yeah.
that you did.
So if you submit it to Liz, have him send it to Liz. And then once Liz will get it, she'll send it to us. Then we can set up a meeting and we can review it. We can do, if it's something that's, more critical, we can set up an emergency meeting.
Oh, we have our meeting on the 17th.
Yeah, we have a meeting on the
We have
17th.
another meeting on the 17th, so we can
June
definitely.
17?
The 17th of this month, so we can certainly fit it in on that agenda. So if you can have all the paperwork submitted, then we can certainly revisit that again. That's not a
Okay.
problem.
Sounds good.
So, okay.
Okay.
I appreciate it. So
Oh, you're
Oh,
very
thank you.
welcome. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming in. All right, so back to the motion.
Yes, motion to postpone CNN Pizza until we get the septic reports.
Okay, I step down, second that motion. Can I get a vote?
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes. All right, do we have, Ralph, anything?
The only other thing is if we could get I know you sent the reappointment letter, but a reappointment for recommendations for reappointment to selectmen.
Okay,
We're gonna do that Wednesday, so if you could get that to us.
okay.
So
Sounds like a plan.
The only other thing I would ask,
I've never seen another board do that, Ralph. Why would a board want to do that? The board of selectmen are the people who appoint the board of health.
Okay, Woody, out of respect, I'm gonna,
Yeah, and I noticed there's no public input on it.
no, because this is an emergency meeting. If you'd like to come back on the 17th, that's when we have our regular meeting. I can't have a free-for-all. It got a little out of control the last time we had our meeting, and unfortunately, I'm putting my
Because
foot,
this board is out of control.
okay.
you're out of line,
Again,
Woody. You're out of line.
Again, if you'd like to come back on the 17th, we can certainly put you on the
Don't
agenda.
point at me, sir.
You're out of line,
Hang on.
sir.
I didn't point at you, okay? Don't point.
I'm gonna stop and ask everybody to refrain from speaking. We're not gonna have a free-for-all. Absolutely not. As the chairperson of this board, I will not
I
allow
want
it.
to make sure, thank you.
If you'd like to come back, I would love to have you back. We'll put you on the agenda. Liz, if you can put him on the agenda for the 17th of June, I would more than be happy for that. But for right now, I am going to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I have one other thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Liz, can you send me the contact information for Ellie, please? And include on that Mike Hugo's contact information.
Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn meeting.
Okay, I step down, I second that motion. Can I get a vote?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Meeting is adjourned. Our next meeting is going to be June the 17th, 2025 at, I believe, is it 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock. Okay, sir, we'll see you then.
You better
Thank you,
believe it.
Ralph.